There has been outcry after the recent remarks of Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Bandi that they don't have money to fully finance free primary and secondary education, where the capitation of 22,244 shillings per secondary student is no longer attainable, and the government can only manage 16,900 shillings per learner.
By the way, let us not live a lie. If you take all the children in Kenya who are in high school, senior secondary school, if you take all of them and divide with our budget, which we give them, it is less than 22,000 shillings. That is what I'm saying. We don't have the capacity as at now to finance free primary, free secondary.
Appearing before the Education Committee, Treasury CS said that owing to the financial constraints, provision of the fees is no longer attainable, calling for review of the cost.
In this country, just like the cost of running elections in this country, is not tenable. And it is exaggerated. And the Ministry of Education has also acknowledged that, and they are working on it. It was not right to pay school examination for all the children of Kenya. It is not right. You subsidize people who cannot. We need to engage in this conversation. Do we really have the capacity to be paying everything for our children?
Treasury CS called for the consolidation of NGCDF fund to fully fund free education in the country.
These monies that we have all over the place, we could consolidate them. For example, if you give me back NGCDF, give me 40% that you have allocated to bursaries, give it back to me. It is going to be over 20 billion, 22. Give it back to me.
It's going to disappear to the ministry.
I add it to capitation.
No, it will disappear to the ministry.
For solution.
The late President Emilio Mwai Kibaki introduced free education in phases, to which free primary education was introduced in 2003 and free day secondary education was introduced 5 years later. This move by Mwai Kibaki's government significantly increased enrollment rates in schools.
The government will provide free secondary education from January 1st, the year 2008.
The remarks by Treasury CS John Bandi have been hammered by different people in the government and even opposition leaders, stating that free education is a right to every child and not an option.
I want to say that I was very disappointed yesterday, seeing those who are in the leadership, highest decision making in our physicals and in our public monies and funds, claiming that Kenya can no longer continue to offer free basic education. We want to tell them, and I'm here as an MP, we are not going to allow anyone to play around with the issue of free basic education. Economies are built by people. The work of education is to add value to people, to the labor force, economically speaking. While the healthcare services labor force, education adds value to the labor force, who are the people. And the economy of Kenya can only grow when education is accessible, it is quality education, and every person has an opportunity to access it. And therefore, the National Treasury and the government, stop those renovations you are doing in big offices. Direct that money into the education of the Kenyan children. Stop those monies hidden at the areas I know, having been the chairman of budget. Stop those ostentatious expenditure. Direct money to where the Kenyans are. And the Kenyans, every family, is represented in a learning institution. Na nataka niseme hatuombi mambo ya free basic education. We are not begging from anyone. We are demanding that it must continue.
According to Education CS Migos Ogamba, free primary education is still on, and the government has only reduced the capitation fee.
Under the government policy, the amount that we are supposed to give per student in senior school is 22,244. but because of budgetary constraints, we've not been able to meet that target. So we were saying what the current amount that was budgeted for is in the year 24-25. Okay, we to get up to that point. And so based on the amount that was budgeted for, when that amount is released and distributed among the number of students that we have, it comes down to 16,900. It does not mean that we have moved from the 22,244 to the 16,900. It just means we have not been able to reach the 22,244 per student because of financial limitations.
On the other hand, Principal Secretary for Basic Education Julius Bitok says that the Treasury CS was misquoted and reaffirming that the government has adequate resources to fund free education.
Allow me to reaffirm the government of Kenya is very keen on investing in education. I want to assure the country that the policy on free primary and secondary education has not changed. The government will continue financing education through capitation as it has been over the years. There's no change. I know Honorable Minister was misquoted yesterday. It was out of context. But I want to assure the country that we are continuing to engage Parliament so that we continue getting the required resources to support education in this country. For the first time in the history of this country, the government is putting in 700 billion Kenya shillings to education. It has never happened in the history of this country.
Under the leadership of Kenya Kwanza government led by President William Ruto, the government has reduced the education capitation, but the internet never forgets.
Mpaka form 4 watasoma bila malipo yoyote. Munisikize vizuri. Nataka munisikize vizuri. Sasa kuanzia Januari mwaka ujao, masomo kutoka standard 1 mpaka form 4 itaendelea bila ya wazazi kulipa school fees.
However, the government has assured the country that there will be no reversal of the free primary and secondary education policy. Backing the government, President William Ruto reaffirmed his commitment to quality education today, highlighting ongoing investments aimed at improving learning conditions in the country.
Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie wa Kenya ya kwamba free primary education katika primary na secondary ni haki ya kikatiba ya wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na tumehakikisha ya kwamba in the last 2 years tumefanya mambo kadhaa to make sure that education is truly universal and truly accessible. Because the commitment we have is that education is the greatest empowerment that any society, any country can give to its young people. And that is why education must be affordable, must be accessible, must be of good quality, and must be relevant. Na sababu hiyo ndio tumeweka pesa nyingi kujenga madarasa mpya. Kwa miaka miwili imepita tumejenga madarasa mpya 23,000.
According to Article 53 of the Constitution, every child has the right to free and compulsory basic education, and now parents have to dig deeper into their pockets to cover their children's education. Reporting for Obina TV Updates, I'm Maggie Ndumia.